Welcome to the explainer on implementing a bulletproof, secure private Python release pipeline. If you've ever banged your head against the wall trying to manage private Python packages, you are absolutely in the right place today. We're going to break down a highly technical DevOps runbook that serves as a literal production reference for platform teams, DevOps engineers, and security pros. We'll unpack exactly how to build, validate, and secure a system that simply won't break when you need it most.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. 1. The GitHub PyPy problem. 2. Build once, publish everywhere. 3. The reference architecture. 4. Securing the supply chain. And 5. Migrating pipenv to UV. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The GitHub PyPy problem.
So let's start with a really crucial question. Where do your private Python packages actually live? It sounds simple, right? But it's vital because honestly, a lot of developers just assume their current ecosystem natively handles this. Like, if you're heavily invested in GitHub, it's super natural to assume GitHub packages will just handle your Python wheels exactly like it handles Docker images or NPM packages. But spoiler alert, that assumption, it causes a lot of broken pipelines.
Yeah, the common expectation is that GitHub Packages natively hosts private Python code, but the reality laid out in this runbook is kinda shocking. GitHub Packages has literally no native PyPy support. Let that sink in for a second. There is no supported endpoint for Python. This means standard commands, pip install, pipmsync, or uvsync, they simply cannot use it as a normal index. You can't even use Twine to publish a wheel there because the endpoint literally does not exist. It's a massive, massive pain point for dependency resolution.
Which brings us perfectly to Section 2. Build once, publish everywhere.
To get around that massive limitation and build a truly stable pipeline, we need a complete paradigm shift, and it all boils down to this golden rule. Build once, publish the same bytes everywhere. Basically, you have to treat your canonical release bundle like a sealed vault. You do not repack the vault for different destinations. You just transport that exact same locked vault everywhere. Rebuilding code independently for different platforms is just a recipe for disaster. You get different generated timestamps, mismatched dependency versions, dirty Git work trees. No thanks. We want one single immutable build.
So the exact life cycle of your code follows these 3 very specific steps. Step 1, we build that canonical bundle from a single Git tag. Step 2, we publish it to AWS Code Artifact, which acts as our actual Python index. And step 3, we attach those exact same files to GitHub releases. Sticking to this flow means we never ever rebuild separately for Code Artifact or GitHub.
Just to be crystal clear on what we mean here, a canonical release bundle is one immutable wheel in source distribution, paired with its checksums and manifest, all built from one Git tag. Think of it as your ultimate recovery unit. Say AWS goes down, or GitHub throws some random error during deployment. No panic. We just retry uploading this exact stored bundle. We completely bypass the nightmare of trying to reconstruct a build environment days or weeks later. It's locked, it's verified, and it is the absolute source of truth.
All right, Section 3, the reference architecture. Let's look at how to actually map this out.
When we map out our trust boundaries, AWS Code Artifact is our native engine. Since GitHub doesn't have a native Python index, Code Artifact steps in to provide full PyPI format support for pip, pipenv, and UV resolution. GitHub Releases, on the other hand, acts as our locked evidence vault. It's not a native index, but it is absolutely perfect for human downloads, API calls, and keeping a permanent record of the release evidence. The runbook also mentions GHCR, the GitHub Container Registry, as an optional OCI mirror for some edge cases. But make no mistake, the heavy lifting for dependency resolution, that is strictly handed off to AWS.
The big takeaway here is that AWS Code Artifact should be configured as your single authoritative private index. We absolutely do not want developers mixing and matching indexes across environments. By routing public PyPy through Code Artifact as a configured upstream, we completely remove ambiguity. And more importantly, this practically eliminates the risk of dependency confusion, which is that nasty vulnerability where your system accidentally pulls a malicious public package instead of your private one just because they share a name.
Moving right along to Section 4, securing the supply chain. Because, let's face it, a brilliant architecture means nothing without an invisible shield protecting it.
We first have to look at the pretty terrifying practices out there that leave software supply chains wide open. The Runbook calls out some major red flags: long-lived AWS access keys just sitting in repository secrets, untrusted pull requests getting access to privileged environments, dependency confusion across multiple indexes, and totally unvalidated distribution contents. These are the exact weak links where supply chain attacks happen, and fixing them is the whole point of this setup.
But here is the massive relief for security teams. The Runbook shuts these threats down entirely. We are tossing out those dangerous static keys and replacing them with GitHub OpenID Connect or OIDC. We're talking short-lived credentials via assumed roles. We lock access down tightly with exact repository and environment OIDC trust conditions. So GitHub Actions only gets AWS access if it is running in an approved protected environment for a specific repo. And to top it off, strict code artifact package origin controls guarantee your internal packages can never be silently overwritten by public ones.
On top of all those access controls, we enforce strict least privilege boundaries. You separate permissions by job or stage. The GitHub Actions build job, it doesn't need publish permissions to AWS, so we don't give it any. The publish job, it doesn't need write access to the repository. By siloing everything, if a build step somehow gets compromised, the blast radius is tiny. The compromised job just literally lacks the authority to push anything malicious to the registry.
And finally, Section 5. Migrating pipenv to UV. This runbook isn't just about today's infrastructure. It's looking right at the future of dependency management.
The landscape is definitely shifting. Now, pipenv is still fully supported for existing projects here, using pipfile and pipfile.lock. But migrating to the modern UV toolchain is the highly recommended path forward. If you haven't seen it, UV is blazing fast. It brings a universal lock file, it's got built-in Python version management, and the speed improvements are just wild. It is quickly becoming the new default for modern projects.
But hey, you can't just flip a switch on your production pipelines, right? You have to be methodical. The Runbook lays out a controlled migration strategy where you actually run dual CI pipelines simultaneously during the transition. You compare the resolved dependencies, and you rigorously verify that both systems are pumping out byte-identical wheel outputs. But here is the absolute golden rule. You must never let both systems race to publish the same production version. Only one automated publisher is allowed to react to your release tags at any given time.
So, I want to leave you with this to think about. Look at your own setup right now. If your pipeline completely broke today, could you redeploy yesterday's exact bytes? This entire architecture, from those lockdown canonical bundles to the ultra-strict OIDC security, forces us to really confront that question. It makes us rethink how resilient our DevOps environments actually are. If you adopt these principles, you aren't just shipping code, you're building a supply chain that is auditable, secure, and genuinely unbreakable. Thanks so much for tuning into this explainer, and good luck locking down those Python releases.